Hey, how's it going, everyone? Just thought I'd jump on, make a video. It's about 2 nights before the pre-order, so just thought I'd jump on and kind of talk about the knife a little bit. Kind of run through. I got some round one prototypes here, and then I got the latest round two. And so yeah, I just wanted to, like I say, make a disassembly video, kind of show you guys the insides. I got this thing set up for all T8, so it's just one tool, start to finish, which is really nice. And then talk about why I did, round one protos and what we did to round two. So, dude, let's jump into the disassembly video and just kind of knock that out, right? So, kind of maybe leave those up there or something. So yeah, super easy. Let's see what would look the best here. We'll focus right there. So yeah, everything's T8. You got your pivot. I always take my pivot out. Actually, no, I don't. But we're gonna run with it because that's what I'm doing. I'm making a video. I'm not used to it. So yeah, I usually take the scale off first, and then I have a nice long backspacer, and I really excuse me, really wanted to make sure that was tight and good fitting, so I had him do 3 screws there on this guy, and they're all T8s. So you just dude, like I say, everything's T8, so you can just pile it all up right there, and then from that point there, knife just pops apart. That's what they do. They pop apart. So there's some of the parts. Got your stop pin like that there. Just leave the racers in there. Collars, got your collar. I'm gonna get the collar for production just a little thinner, so I'm gonna make this hardware just a little bit wider. So yeah, you guys have seen the insides of the knives, right? Got that internal stop pin track going, right? We got some lightning pockets there on the inside. Really makes this, I'll show you when I put it back together. This knife is like perfectly balanced. So it worked out good. Best Tech did a really good job of dialing that in. So then, assembling it, shoot, let's do it. So yeah, usually I start with the show side scale, and I'll go ahead and put the pivot in there. It's a captive pivot, right? So you want to look for that little flat spot, face it towards the back of the knife, put your bearings on there, get it all built up, get your stop pin in there. Boom, right? Get your stop pin, pivot, washer. Then next, what goes on there would be the blade. And I like to put it on about like halfway at an angle, so that way you could, when you push the lock side on, it's pushing on the blade right there, so it works out good. This knife's a mess. And then basically you want to build up this side. With your washer, with your bearings, your race washer, make sure it's on the inside there. Put it all in there. Make sure your pivot is in there nice and good, snaps together. What I like to do just right there as I'm pressing down on the scales and holding it together, I just like to put the pivot in there. And since it's captive, you can just, it's locked in place right now. So you'll be able to just tighten that screw up pretty darn good. Then I just grab it, because you're holding the butt together still here. Then I'll lock it. And then all the scales, the scale screws and the backspacer screws are all identical. So you could just pile those up when you're disassembling and reassembling. You don't got to worry about, oh, where do they go, or which one's which, or whatnot. So I guess I should have shown off the internal. You can kind of see it in there. I got the screws in there for the clip. Yeah, look, you can see them right there. Got that internal mounted clip, which is pretty sick. Use that space, right? I love that hidden hardware. So yeah, we got those in there. You can kind of feel it out now where you're at. So you can see right here we're a little loose on the pivot. Pivot's really nice. It's like it stays tight, and then there's like more room to tighten it. Get that thing perfect. Sure, she's feeling good. Boom, she's back together. Yeah, so super simple. Like I said, on the screws here, they all match. So you don't need to worry about it. Towards the end here, put this back together. We're at 7 minutes. Yeah. Can edit this down a little bit. So there we go. We're all back together. I can even go a little tighter on that pivot. Just a tad there. Make sure she's dropped shut. Feeling good. Everything's good. Back together. She's rolling. So yeah, there it is. I mean, you guys know what to do. You guys have all taken apart a knife. It's nice just with one tool. Yeah, so round one, man. So DeVille, gosh, designed it, jumped into it, doing leather work forever, and got into the scale business, and dealing with knife collecting, and just was like, okay, man, let's learn fusion. Let's check this out. And so I just took the deep dive into like learning about knives, man, and like they actually get pretty complicated, and got to do a lot of thinking to make them all work, and then especially to make a design yours look different than others, and have it engineered correctly to like make it pop, invest the time and money to have these things built up. So yeah, I got the proto ones, and I knew right away with the pivot size, I was just like, oh man, I can't and this pivot here, so this one here I'm just playing around with. This is actually one of the old pivots and collar, and I just have that in the new pivot, so you can see the size difference just right there. But this just looks pinner, and that just looks more together. I don't have any other variations on me. They're all out with friends and some reviewers and stuff right now. Yeah, the collar is bigger, the pivot's bigger. It's all bigger on the new V3s. These are V3s, or no, this is V2. The finals will be V3s, I guess you could say, but they're very, very identical to what this turned out as. So yeah, the difference is like what else too. There was just a couple of things. They did the really narrow job on this spine right here. Like, I thought it was another thing I first noticed. I was like, oh man, that's really narrow. And so I knew I wanted that chunkier. I wanted that a nice 3 mil just all the way across. The idea of the blade was for sure to have it get fatter right here, to keep the weight, a lot of weight, super centered and nice on the knife. I talked about that centering earlier. Like, that thing is balanced right there, right? Like right where you're going to be gripping it, it's balanced, perfect. And then the drop shut action on it. I mean, the action's way up there on top, or the weight is way up here. So that was one of my design thoughts. Was like, okay, I want a nice center mass on that blade, And so yeah, they made the spine a little skinny there. One thing I was pointed out from Kevin over at Knife Nerdery was the backspacer, and so this one here like stops just halfway up, leaves that back end open. You can see the hidden hardware from the clip screws. You could see the tip, which is cool, but man, I'm just so, and this, like, when it's in the pocket too, like this is kind of what you feel like. and being closed and all solid just feels really classy. It has a really classy feel. And I actually like the way the tip gets tucked away, man. It's pretty cool. Feels safe. It's awesome. Goes all the way around. So that was one big change that we did, was the back spacer. So you can see that. And then, and to do that, I had to make the handle just slightly bigger on there. And so that was a big change. Another one too is the chamfering. The chamfering all around the whole knife, right? I knew I wanted more right when I saw it, and I was like, oh man, no, I need it visible. I need it visible on the knife, you know? But it helps all the corners, and like you could see it with a light reflection. Like, it just looks really good with chamfering. You can see the difference right there. So pivot, chamfering, detent. Yeah, I asked them. I said, hey, let's amp it up another 20%. And they did. They did a great job, man. All the reviewers too, and people that are checking them out are like, hey, this is a nice detent, right? Like, it works really good for all of the features, man. Yeah, so you know, we did the spine. Oh, the spine. Yeah, so we did the pivot, spine, chamfering, backspacer. I changed all the hardware, so they had internal hardware on here, and the clip was all T6. So I had them change that up, and we went to all T8s. The detent stronger. Oh, and then a stiffer lock bar. So on the Protos here, they're really showing off the Damasteel too much. I can't wait to see the new Damasteel with the new like rounded chamfering, the thicker blade, because it just looks a lot better. But the Damasteel model's gonna look great. It's fun. I just love that side cut too. Stronger lock bar. Yes. So in the lockup, so you can see how much more lockup there is. So I had them change the amount of lockup and how stiff it is. So now it's like a little stiffer and a much earlier lockup, whereas this is more springy and like 50%, you know. So I had them dial that into a nice tight feel right there on that. It's good. And then, you know, with the first one, with the super thin, and it wasn't because of this, I had it to right there, the jimping. And so after feeling it, I was like, oh man, we got to get that jimping all the way up to the top there, because that's like right where your thumb rests, right up there. So you can see I just extended the jimping down, added more jimping on that part just for box cutting. That's how I hold it. I mean, sometimes I'll hold it like this too. Actually, I'll hold it like this actually quite a bit. So, and that's another thing too. So when we thickened the blade back to where I originally wanted it, I didn't want it this thin at all, right? When they CNC the blades, they chamfer this inner edge, and when they did the grind too thin up here, it takes away the chamfering. So these edges right here were super sharp. Like they're nail biters, you know, like they scratch your nail. So that was immediate too when I first got the round one Protos. And so it was all a learning process for me, just learning how to design something, and then also design it to where a manufacturer can manufacture it great, you know, learning what happens during the manufacturing process and how it affects the design and what's going on. So it's been a great thing. Basically the idea behind this was just a fidget madness, right? So you got front flipper, hole, you got fuller, you could do the fuller flick. I mean, this thing is all over the place as far as fidgetability, right? And then action too. Like, I'm a big fan of like just smooth, you know, you don't even have to shake this thing type of action, right? You loosen that pivot up a little bit to where it's still, you know, really tight. Not really tight, but then like it turns into pretty much a guillotine, right? And so it's really cool in that sense how you can kind of tune it, and it stays centered with both of those settings too, which is nice. So then you can have that kind of slower drop. So that turned out perfect, and that was the kind of idea too with the blade and how I've experienced just knives from Best Tech. So I was like, oh man, if I have a heavy blade, it's gonna feel good, you know. And so it all worked out really well. The front flipper, yeah, I mean it's there, it's cool. This hole worked out to be really well. The shape of it, the way it angles up right there, and like it just catches your finger really well. The reviewers and people that have been checking it out too have said the same thing. Like, you can either use your fingernail up under there because it's chamfered, or you can use that, you know, chunk of your finger, and it grabs it on both of the thumb. Like, you don't have to adjust your grip for the thumb. Like, it just works. Like, a lot of holes are really hard to thumb flick. This one is like really easy, and the reverse flick is just really mean. And yeah, dude, shit, there it is. You know, it's been a long process, man. I tell you what. Yeah, it's been a go. But I'm stoked to get it off the ground, stoked to get these out. Yeah, so that's it. I'm just gonna close it out here. You know, thanks for all you guys have been following along and cheering me on, if you would. Got a lot of you guys have been bouncing questions off of. A lot of input from, you know, design style from all of my buddies. You know who you are. So thanks to everybody who's stood up with me talking about this thing every day for the past year and a half. And yeah, so that's it. You know, pre-orders, like I say, in like 36 hours from now. And oh, and about that, yeah, so the pre-order, like, there it is. It's got to do a pre-order. I know I don't even do pre-orders myself anymore, you know. So I'm hoping you guys like this enough and can do it. I set up a deposit. I wasn't going to do a deposit just because all the makers, you know, and designers, they're like, oh no deposits, you know, it gets messy. And well, I do leather work and I do this, you know, scale stuff on the side, and that's my main gig. So I'm used to shipping. I'm used to all the computer work. I have a bunch of spreadsheets already, so bring it on. I got a deposit option. I'll get one of two listings. You guys buy the one listing, and then as soon as I close the pre-order and put the order through, I'll put up listing number 2 of 2, and then I'll have a spreadsheet of all you guys with the emails, and then I'll send out an email. You know, just pay it when you can, man. Like, you get it done with as soon as you can. As soon as those payments starts coming in, those orders, listings for 2 of 2, I'll take down the name and email. And I'll match it up with the spreadsheet. As long as you got both, you're in. So this deposit is going to be 50% off of the just the retail price of the knife. When you pay in full, there is like that pre-order discount. So I got them all priced. I got the micarta. This model right here is going to come with a stonewash blade, and this one's going to be priced at $300. So got that down. This one here, I think it's like $535. It gets so expensive, you need to put the side cut and that Damasteel on there. Gosh, yeah, they just, I wish I could even charge more, but I'm gonna be nice on that one, and we're gonna keep it in that $535 range. And like I say, the gold marbled carbon fiber and the blue CF that you guys have been seeing are out and about right now, so I don't have them. But that's it, you know. Appreciate you guys once again, and right on. Late.